very old man now, and this is something that happened to me when I was very young, only 9 years old. It was 1914, the summer after my brother, Dan, died in the Westfields, and not long before America got into the First World War. I've written down all that happened to me by Castle Stream that day in this diary, in the hopes that my grandchildren will read my story long after I am dead. I can assure you that the events of that sunny afternoon in small-town Mountain, Maine, will haunt me until the day that I die. The face of the man I met that day, the man in the black suit, grows ever clearer, ever closer, and I remember every word he said. I swear to you now, that man was the devil.
Gary, you may go fishing this afternoon as long as you don't mind going by yourself. I have to go see Bill Eversham about some cows. But promise me you won't go further than where the water splits.
I promise.
Now promise your mother, Gary.
My mother had been word sick about me ever since that wretched bee stung my brother Dan. He died from that bee. His face got all swollen and puckered, and since that day my mother has never been the same.
You be safe now, Gary, you hear? Don't go any farther than where the stream forks. Promise me.
I promise.
Imagine that. A fisher boy. Hello, fisher boy. Are we well met?
Hello, sir.
You didn't answer my question, fisher boy. Are we well met?
Please don't hurt me.
Oh, do I smell something? Something wet? Opal, diamond, sapphire, jade. I smell Gary's lemonade. Sad news, fisher boy. I've come with sad news. Your mother's dead.
No, you lie.
I'm afraid not, Gary. It was the same thing that happened to your brother Dan. It was a bee.
No, it's not true. She's old. She's 35. If a bee sting could kill her the way it did Danny, she would have died a long time ago. You're a lying bastard.
I understand your grief, little fisher boy, but that argument simply doesn't hold water. A man can go his whole life without seeing a mockingbird, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. Your mother simply went her entire life without being stung by a bee. But then, less than a half hour ago, actually, one flew in the kitchen window while she was taking bread out of the oven. You need to hear this, Gary, my little fisher boy. It was your mother that passed that fatal weakness onto your brother Dan. Tisk tisk. So although I don't like to speak ill of the dead, it is almost a case of poetic justice, isn't it? After all, she killed your brother Dan as surely if she had put a gun to his head and pulled the trigger.
No, it's not true.
I assure you, it is. The bee flew in the window and lit on her neck. She felt her throat start to close up at once. That's what happens, you know, to people who can't tolerate bee venom. Their throats close and they suffocate in the open air. That's why Dan's face was so swollen and purple. She made the most wonderfully awful noises, Gary, and she scratched her face quite badly, I'm afraid. Her eyes bulged out like frog's eyes. She wept. She wept, Gary. She wept as she died. Isn't that sweet? I'm starving. I'm going to kill you and eat your guts out, little fisher boy. What do you think about that? Also, you'll go to heaven. Think of that, little fisher boy. Murdered souls always go to heaven. Think of that, Gary. We'll both be serving God this afternoon. Isn't that nice? Big fish, big fish. Fisher boy. Gary, what's the matter? Are you alright?
Ma's dead. I met a man in the woods and he told me Ma's dead.
Now, Gary, listen to me. I don't care what the man says. I was just at the house and I saw your mother. It must have just been one of your bad dreams.
Maybe, but can we go see Mother? I just want to see her.
Alright, well, where's your rod and bucket?
I told him that, in my fright, I had left the rod and bucket behind at the river. So we went home.
Ma!
Gary! Oh, Gary, what is it? What's the matter?
Oh, he's alright. He just had another bad dream down by the brook.
Oh, pray to God that it's the last one.
You see, Gary, everything's fine, but we should go back to the river and get your rod. You don't have to come with me if you don't want to.
Okay, I'll come. Just let me get something from the house.
Be quick. Grab my hat while you're inside. Come on, Gary, let's get out of here.
That day in the woods is 80 years gone. Now that I am old, my infirmities have crept up like waves that will soon take a child's abandoned sandcastle. My memories, too, have crept up, even those I never again want to think of. And of all the memories in my aged mind, the one man in the black suit is the strongest, and glows with its own spectral haunted light. He was real. He was the devil, and on that day, I was either his errand or his luck. But it was just that allowed me to escape that day. Luck. In the dark, I sometimes hear that voice drop even lower, into ranges that are inhuman. It whispers in tones of hushed greed, and all the truths in the moral world fall into ruin before its hunger. I never saw the man in the black suit again, and as I write this on death's door, I pray that I never will again.